couple of my buddies, we've been playing games together for a while, so we'll get online and we'll play whatever it is that we feel like playing. And I play a lot of basketball. So I've coached for 18 years. I play every Thursday night. And, between basketball and the gym, I try and make sure that I can carry these old knees as far as possible.
Fair enough. What about apps or AI platforms you're using? Anything that's jumped out? Maybe something you've discovered you really love?
Yeah. So, I never had a background in software development. Most of my really close friends are very sophisticated application developers, and have, someone very senior in J&J, another guy who was actually the chief evangelist he was the employee number one in the Alexa business. He was my college roommate. And so these guys, I mean, they can write code like nobody's business. I never had that skill, right? I came up through sort of the desktop support into server support, infrastructure and help desk and all that. And I made my way that way. And so I was always very jealous of the fact that they could build something from nothing. And so what I did, once all this AI, so I mentioned earlier the vibe coding thing, I installed VS Code on my computer, and then I got a Claude account. And basically there's a Claude agent that you can build into your development environment. And then lo and behold, I've built websites, I've built some sort of some lightweight apps and stuff like that. And it's fun as heck to do. It is really fun. I like being able to just sort of, orate what I want this thing to do, and it can build the damn code. It's unbelievable. And I've actually, in talking to my friends, they've said, and they'll stand by it, that these tools have made them 60, 70% more efficient because they're not floundering with them, right? They're really purposeful about how they leverage these things to make them more efficient. And they're using it to document their work. They're using it to do release notes. They're using it to optimize. I would say the AI is no joke. And that's why you're seeing some of these organizations that are reducing staff, these technology organizations, because you can get significant efficiencies if you know what you're doing.
Have you heard of the Ralph Wiggums concept that I think came out yesterday?
No, I haven't. Tell me about it.
So, from The Simpsons, I'll try to summarize it best I can. So if someone in the comments, recognizes that I'm not phrasing this correctly, I'm raising my hand right now going, I'm not a developer. My understanding is that, Ralph Wiggum is someone who goes, I'll help, but doesn't actually do anything. And a lot of AI code will sometimes tell you it's complete when it's actually not. And so this is a way of almost re-injecting the prompt and enforcing it to complete and really validate against itself before it continues on. It's almost a reinforcing loop to say, I'll help, but really encouraging it to go through the entire process. Because as these AI platforms are able to run, minutes to hours, I think it's even up to maybe days right now of, directionless, development, it's really important to make sure that you have the fundamentals that you are able to understand both what it's doing and also to make sure that it's correct. And so I think having that background is really important so that when you are vibe coding, you're able to confirm the vibe coding. 1 second. Sorry about that. And so just one last question here. Do you have a life motto or something that you really grab a hold of that you either share with your family or your friends when they say, this really defines Phil? Is there something that jumps out to you?
That's a really good question. And it's a nuanced question, right? One of the things that I like to remind myself is how lucky I've been. And I remind myself every day. So I have a practice where every day, at some point when I get my day moving, I pause and I list in my head, and I repeat all the things that I'm thankful for. And it just seems to ground me better in my day. I feel like I'm a better husband. I'm a better employee. I'm a better friend when I keep in mind that none of this is promised.